Hello, my name is Michael Morley, and I am here to review Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, directed by James Gunn, starring of course, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel as Groot, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon, Pom Klementieff, I hope I pronounced the name, Karen Gillan, uh, Sylvester Stallone, Will Poulter, and Sean Gunn. Did I like this movie? Overall, I gotta tell you, all these Marvel movies I've been watching have been disappointing me. Uh, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, disappointment. She-Hulk, disappointment. I have been disappointed so many times. I think the last great superhero movie I've seen from Marvel is Spider-Man: No Way Home. And is this good? I can honestly say this is a great finale to the Guardians of the Galaxy series for the original team. This is a great uh, way of, ending it off, letting the characters go off and do their own thing. The story, the plot, uh, you know, we aren't meant to know the plot, but here's the thing: the plot is that one of the Guardians gets injured, and they need to save that Guardian before it dies. And overall, it's a really great story. It's a interesting premise. It's really a story about Rocket Raccoon. It's his origin. It tells you exactly where he came from, how he got the things around his back, around his chest, why he was basically a science experiment, what made him become who he is, and it's a great. It has a lot of flashback sequences, and that's one of the greatest things about the movie. But I also think there are times where there's a scene with Rocket Raccoon where it's going involving around him, and that's where the flashback sequence happens. And then there's a moment where a flashback just happens, and it's not Rocket Raccoon isn't there, and it doesn't really make sense. It's like I buy it. That's fine. I get it. You continue finishing the origin story of Rocket Raccoon, but all the other scenes were starting off with Rocket, and now there's a scene where it just kind of happens at random without Rocket. You know what I mean? But that aside, that is just a nitpick. um, I have to say the villain in this movie, the High Evolutionary, played by the actor I can't pronounce his name. He is menacing in this film. He's a very simple villain. There really is no backstory. That's one of the things about Marvel. They never really have much of a backstory for the villains. They just have a very one-sided nature of hatred. And, there's very few villains in Marvel that we actually think are really good, like Thanos, Loki, Killmonger, but he's none of those, but he's a very menacing villain for what he's given. And yeah, you definitely hate this guy. You definitely want to punch him in the face, and the things that he did in the past to a certain character, you just want to kill him. Yeah, he was great. Chris Pratt, look, this is the role that really made him famous. This movie watching this, I felt like this is the best Chris Pratt we've seen since the very first Guardians of the Galaxy. And my God, yeah, it just makes me like him even more. He's very charismatic, he's funny, he's loyal, and he's goofy. He just works in everything, and he was definitely born to play this character. Dave Bautista, he is hilarious, he's funny. Finally, we get a resolution with him being dumb, and they do it in such a good way, to sort of, because we have been noticing that they've really dumbed down Drax as the movie's gone on. They've really made him into a dum-dum, and they finally kind of acknowledge it in this movie, and it's like, yeah, good. Zoe Saldana, she was great. She kind of comes back, plays the character of, of Nebula. I mean, not Nebula, Gamora. She has basically what happened in Avengers Infinity War. She got killed by Thanos, but then in Endgame, they go back in time, which is back where the first Guardians of the Galaxy takes place, before she meets Star Lord, Chris Pratt's character, and before she becomes a Guardian. So she doesn't really know much about them. This is like a new thing for her. Like it's like she never got to experience being a Guardian, and she never got to fall in love with Star Lord. So she's back. She's kind of this shithead character that really has no empathy for any of them, and it's sad because you feel so bad for Star Lord that he has to go through this woman that he's been in love with, and she completely looks at him like she doesn't know who the hell he is, and she doesn't even give a shit about him, you know. Um, it's very good, and as the movie goes on, it's like there's a little bit of something, might be a bit of hope, but it kind of has a realism way of what if someone you fell in love with completely forgot everything about you, and it was before she even met you, and they did it in such an interesting way. That's all I can really say about that. I thought the character played Mantis, Pom Klementieff, if that's her name, how you pronounce it. She's very funny. She plays a very good role. She's funny. She's energetic. She's got a lot of charisma, and she's become truly a good Guardian. Like she got introduced in Volume 2, and she's just become a very well liked character in the Guardian team. Karen Gillan, Nebula, man, she plays a pretty big role in this. She's got a lot to do. You can just see if you watch her character as the movies are going on, from the first Guardians to the second to the Avengers to this, she's become more and more prominent in each film, and she's just become more and more of a lead character. And I think Karen's a very talented Scottish actress. And it's amazing how underutilized she was, and now she's become such a grand character that there's so much depth to her. And yeah, it's good. The little appearance from Sylvester Stallone, he's great. I loved, he has a grand presence. He only needs to be there for one scene or two, and he makes you remember him because he's Sylvester Stallone. Um, uh, what else? I really liked Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. I liked him. I think he had a cool entrance into the Marvel universe. The way he comes into the film, I thought he was great. But I really got to say that I think he was heavily underutilized, and there was so much more that they could do with him. But because they had so many characters, he really is like the ninth or tenth important character in the film. So really, if you didn't have him in this movie, it wouldn't have made a big impact to the story at all. But he's there, and he has his moments, and he's kind of there at certain points. He disappears, he causes havoc, he disappears, and then he comes back again, and he grows on you. But I just wish he had so much. I wish he had more to do, because he really doesn't have much to do. But they make the best of what they can do with him. But yeah, he was very underutilized, and I know that he had a lot more capabilities than what we have seen. And I'm anxious and excited to see what else we're going to see from this guy in the future in the Marvel universe. Um, Overall, I think Bradley Cooper, yeah, as Rocket Raccoon. How did I forget about him? He was great. He is like the glue in this film. He is the stepping stone in this film. It's really what he is as a character. How such a little guy can be such a impact to the team, and how he is a very well liked, prominent character. And you only just respect Rocket Raccoon so much more when you watch this movie. You understand why he's so bitter, why he's so angry, why he, yeah. It's definitely got a lot of story in this film, and it gives a lot of love to Rocket. And in my opinion, is it my favorite one in the franchise? It's way better than two. Even though two, in my opinion, has gotten better over time due to all the Marvel movies that have just come along that have just been really bad, Volume 2 has been getting higher on my list, but Volume 3 is a lot better. But I still think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is just a tinge better. Just a tinge. But overall, this has always been my favorite story in the Marvel universe because I've always been more interested in the space origin story rather than what's going on in the world, because there's so many characters going on in the world. They have to talk about crossovers and other characters that pop in out of nowhere, and they just got to do it because they're in the world, where here in space you can do whatever you want, and it really is a story about the Guardians, not about any other characters that just pop in because they're in the same universe. And it was good to see that for a change. So overall, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. It's a great franchise ender. It's good. Yeah, you should go see it. If you love Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a great ending for this original team. By the way, guys, show some class. If you like this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out. And if you enjoy my content or all my other videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. It helps my channel out a heap. Thank you very much.